show me some apathy. Open your eyes and see the world's got beautiful colors.
Like a lot of songs, Beautiful Colors started with a simple idea. Normally for me, it might be a musical idea. I hum a melody and I think, boy, this could turn into something. And I start thinking of lyrics that fit those phrases. But in this case, it was a concept of frustration, of kind of obsessing, social media, scrolling around social media or the news, or obsessing about all the bad things going on in the world. And believe me, there's plenty of bad things going on in the world, and we need to fight against those. But at the same time, you look down and what you're going to see is what's in the gutter. Maybe looking up, you realize, boy, this place is a beautiful place. And boy, there are people doing beautiful things. So I thought, boy, that's an interesting idea. The world's got beautiful colors, but you might just miss it if you're scrolling or obsessing. And if we do look up and if we do look at the beauty, it doesn't mean glossing over the bad, but then it may begin to change us. So from there, it came up with this little melody, the world's got beautiful colors. And I thought, good, I've now done a song. But I realized, nope, the song is just getting started. Show it to Kim and Dave and Frank, and here's the story of what happened next. You want to go on to something new?
Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
We got an hour.
It's funny how playing that song, even to friends, then you're kind of putting yourself out there. And even though these are, my wife and great friends, and yet still I'm like, just, I hope they like it, I hope they like it, I hope they like it.
Gotta get a hit, just a little bit more of this story. Did she get a rose, or do you suppose housewife glory?
This is really fun to watch because it's kind of our typical way of creating music. Is someone introduces something, it's really raw, really conceptual. They've tried to put enough instrumentation to it so we have context of like what they're thinking. It's kind of funny, if you watch Dave and I, we're just kind of sitting quietly and we're formulating, mentally like, okay, this is what I would do to this.
When Paul brings a song to the band, it already has some sort of drum programming on it. It's always interesting to figure out how I'm going to play that in my own style. I want to honor what he has there and then figure out how to, make it my own.
There's some stuff that you work with in there.
It's got this pop chorus, right? But the verse is very obtuse and interesting. So it feels like to me it's got some push and some pull to it that I like.
I think we'll embellish it a lot.
And I know Paul and Kim just love pop flavorings. And so when I heard that chorus and I knew that it was pop, I instantly just thought, man, I got to go to 16th notes. I mean, when I think pop, I guess growing up in the 80s, I just think 16ths on the hi-hat, Duran Duran type of flavor. So we started with that. We didn't stay there, but we started with that.
Notice is those early melodies, I was seeing some different notes, and I might have liked those better, but it's a little late. But that was the beginning, and I was super excited about it, so we'll see where it goes. I don't even remember what happens next.
Dave and I aren't guitar players, but we throw down some kind of a scratch thing to get the ball rolling. And so much time is spent at this stage with Frank coming up with what's going to now be the character. Another thing I like about this song that you can even hear from the very beginning is how those drums, it feels like they're turning around, with that beat. And it's cool. It's just it's a flavor of the song that I think is pretty fun character.
I remember Paul calling me with the "show me some apathy" line, and he really liked it, but he was like, does it make sense? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? And I thought, no, that's a really cool way to say, like, man, maybe you care about this stuff way too much. And so we kind of wanted to accentuate that. So not playing around that phrase became kind of a key part of this song.
I was singing the world has beautiful colors. That transitioned to the world's got beautiful colors.
This chorus took so many journeys, as we're just starting to see one of them here. I think the melody was the same as we're singing here, but the music of this, Dave on the 16th, Frank's doing those octave things, that B chorus, there was something that felt like that's going to be great, this B chorus that never went anywhere, but it made it all the way through to the very final production.
Yeah, that's a perfect example of something great at the time, and you won't hear it in the tune. It goes away. Things just sometimes feel great in rehearsal or when we're developing, and then when you go to tape, I say go to tape, go to digital device when you record, and you start working on all the parts together, and you start listening back, sometimes things don't stick in the end, and so I'm going to keep that line in my back pocket for something else.
Frank's always great with coming up with little melodies and things like that. I always loved that. It just reminded me of old school Missing Persons or something like that. Probably why I wore the shirt in the video in honor of the lost guitar riff.
Okay, so go back to the D.
This is really great. Frank comes up with this D major 7 deal for the bridge. It's just such a great departure. It's got this smooth, sweet feel to it.
It always sounds so loungy when it's just raw, you know.
Kim's being all stealthy here, and she has the melody for the bridge, and she just kind of starts singing it, not drawing attention to herself over the top of the rest of our mayhem, and it ends up being the bridge melody.
This was where we were playing around with the bridge, and I was just trying to think to myself and in my quiet way, and I came up with a few ideas which we ended up using, so that was fun.
One other quick thing on the F sharp, because we're doing the trampoline, the donk donk.
Yeah.
I feel like that's redundant. Like we're
Yeah, I love stopping and starting a lot, which is like anti-pop music, because it doesn't work in an elevator or a grocery store. But yeah, we always find a way to make things interesting. That was cool.
on the end. Boom.
Tell me you're sad.
This is that intro, that kind of 70s intro. It's so smooth. It's the bridge we're trying as an intro. In the end, I think it was just too smooth, and we needed to come in with a bang on this song, so we went away from it. So that verse part Frank's playing, I remember really liking that part. It's almost, police kind of in there. It just feels really, really fun.
I think this song struggled with rhythm. Sometimes it sounded reggae or ska, sometimes it sounded disco. I was trying to embrace the pop, but even that, pop has so many variations.
Yeah, we're still keeping it really basic here. We haven't embellished anything yet. Everything's really straight and really raw. I think we're just still learning the tune a little bit.
Yeah, the problem with the verse right now for me,
Yeah.
which you could be aware of as you play with tracks this week,
Yeah.
is that D. I'm just kind of hanging there, and it's okay if it's boring.
I love that we captured Paul actually saying, it might be cool to have a lick here, something instead of just this driving thing. And then Frank goes home and he comes up with this lick, which became just this key part. It morphed a few different times, went through many different pedals.
Yeah, so what you're not seeing here is the 9,000 licks I did before I landed on that one. And I don't even remember precisely how I got there. I just started deconstructing things. I'm like, okay, let me deconstruct the major 7 we're using and do some guitar bends, and somehow magically that came
Yeah, when Frank turned in that lick, it just like blew my mind open on that day when I heard that. It was so great. It's exactly what we needed.
Yeah, so it's starting to come together now. Everyone's learning their parts and putting some new things in. I love Frank's little part.
Yes, a couple notes.
Okay.
I love that guitar lick in the verses. The second
It's
half.
too much to do every time. You
I
do
don't
every other
like. It was
maybe.
only twice you do it in a verse, though. It's just.
You like it.
Oh, I love it.
So what if
you
I
stopped doing
alternated?
it, I got really sad.
I went into mourning.
That's interesting. Because I was never a fan of the 16th in the chorus, but I felt like, well, everybody else likes it.
At some point, Paul was just like, no, I think we need to be a little more driving, a little more eighth note pulse, a little more rock and roll pop. So here we removed the 16ths and went to a more driving thing, which gave me the idea to go to the floor tom for some of those parts. So it all worked out.
Yeah, don't ask me why. I said stop doing the 16ths.
do it without. I'll do it.
Let's try it.
I'll do
Yep.
other version of it.
Man, that's a tough one.
It is a tough one.
You have something established and you think it's the most secure thing in the entire song, and if anything was to change, it wouldn't be that, and then it gets yanked out from under you for whatever reason. It could be, one of us just has a real problem and we're just trying to find other things, or maybe the song just isn't coming together, so we have to start taking radical shifts of approach. And so that's always tough because when you play music, it's kind of personal and it's your art, and so having to change radically like that on a dime is kind of tough mentally.
But it just must not be that much faster because it doesn't sound.
Oh, it's 15.
Yeah, I thought the song was kind of dragging, so I definitely thought we should speed it up.
No, it's 146 now.
So we finally landed on the right tempo.
It didn't change the pitch.
I think we naturally played the song fast when we were working on it as a band, but the actual original was much slower. And so when we went to actually record it, we went back to that tempo. And then my friend Jeff said, yeah, this song's great. It needs to be faster.
So yeah, that's kind of an inside joke with us. When something isn't working or we're not happy with it, we just make it go faster.
It felt like it was dragging, and those 16ths maybe would have been too fast. So now I can be okay with losing the 16ths because it would have been really moving those 16ths at that speed. In fact, that's right, because shaking the tambourine to 16ths, Dave's arm was about to fall off. Yeah, I love this drum and guitar only chorus. It to me is like, good old fashioned rock and roll, just to leave the bass out. The drums are riding those floor toms and the guitar's pounding away, and the vocal. That's one of my favorite parts of the song. And then we come back in and take it home. Oh yeah.
We don't even have an entrance.
That's right. You'll hear Frank's new guitar thing. Just play something to it.
All right, here it comes.
Yeah. That intro of Frank's, and Dave he'd never heard it, and we're like, just count off and then play to it, and he just starts laughing. Kim's vocal, she sang in the studio. There wasn't a scratch vocal on this song for whatever reason. I don't know why. Maybe because we sped it up and we didn't have one. And we were going to track vocals later back at this studio, but in the studio in LA, Kim went. We had the isolation booth set up, and she went in there, and boy, that vocal was great.
Well, I don't know what it is about singing in that vocal booth in that studio, but I super enjoyed it, and I don't understand why everyone else is getting their actual recording done there. And I probably sang so much better when we were just doing it for fun or whatever, add to the energy. But next song, I want to go back. I want to do my vocals there.
I don't see anything. What's after
Okay, so
Housewife
it's supposed to
Lori?
be
After the song was tracked, we had another kind of lyric rewriting session.
Yeah, I love these lyrics. I love the idea, the concept of the song about obsessing about things, good or bad, but just simply obsessing about things which take away from kind of seeing the good in things and in people.
That was a fun day of writing lyrics. Interesting to think back to how many times the lyrics pivoted. I don't know how long, with that first verse all about like the housewives and the bachelor and these phrases, and then we're like, I don't know if that's really what everyone wants to hear about. So yeah, morphed a few times.
But kind of by the hate, are we in a state?
Ooh.
Okay, and then the next line could be a continuation of, are we in a state of? Hearing us come up together with these lyrics. Are we in a state of obsession? And then the aggression line.
What's a state of like
depression? And then you could have obsession.
no
Well, then we are in a state of obsession. Are we in a state of obsession? You know, why is your focus on aggression?
Got your blinders on, only hear the song.
It's just funny to watch us try and figure out, all right, what is this going to be? What is that going to be? Knowing now what the words are, I had the same experiences when I watched the Beatles Get Back, and they're trying to figure out, okay, what is it? Is it a pomegranate? And you're just like, no. And so I was yelling at the computer like, this is broken record song. That's the phrase you're looking for.
Focus on the
Broken
song of
record.
aggression. Focus on the song of aggression. Because that's the thing, we're
Got your
focused.
blinders on. I know we want to say
aggression.
What about
Broken record song of aggression.
got your blinders on? Broken record song of aggression.
Broken record
It's like
song.
it's just
That was
skipping.
amazing.
You're just-
It's really hard to sing, actually.
I think the thing I like about them is they're not really pointing the finger. They're pretty clear. They're not making fun of anybody for wasting time, because we all do it. They're just observation, of kind of this behavior that we all tend to have.
I love the lyrics. I love like the darkness of the verses, and then just the brightness and joy and hope of the choruses.
Higher mic.
Yeah.
So I busted out my old electric drums and some really old electric drums, some Simmons that I didn't even know if they were going to work, that I had somewhere in a box in my garage. And Paul and I just spent the day triggering, finding sounds.
Even lower on the low one. Whoa. I love the day Dave brought the electric drums to the studio. Some of them are more modern, but of course some of them from the 80s with the little EPROM chips that have been probably like rained on, and they're all messed up. Yeah, that crazy Simmons sounds like a circuit bent sound. It's because it kind of is.
Yeah, it drops.
So where would we play that? It's fun having Dave actually play them rather than the song be so programmed. Frank came back in and now gave us that kind of, which is really the predominant character of this chorus, this driving guitar thing. It was, originally we tried doing a synth there, and it was cool, and Frank was even on board with it, which I gotta hand it to him for being on board with it.
I kind of tried a lot of different things. What I wanted to do was preserve still an organic approach to it. What I had asked the group is, hey, let me try to do some of these things in a more organic way. If we want an organ in the background, let me do it with a guitar, run through a synth thing and a reverb.
Let's play with
I haven't done anything like
I heard
that.
Frank describe his guitar playing as orchestrating
with
parts.
the actual I want to do. Or should we?
Yeah, that little chicken part just feels so good in that blank space because there's nothing else happening but drums and that little part and on the bass. Oh yeah, I just love that.
The bottom line is that we try to do it more authentically rather than taking the easy route and just programming it with some synthetic sound that we bought. I'm proud of the fact that we had kind of went the distance on this and come up with some cool stuff.
Here's the thing about that intro. Remember, we started with the 70s intro, then we went to the rubber band intro, and then we went to the big Prince, you know, and then finally we went into this, you know, with a distorted bass and the drums going huge on there. So talk about a journey just for the intro alone. This bass part, I love just a pocket. A lot of this was Frank's idea. I had been filling it up with too many eighth notes, and then Frank went in Logic and he starts chopping it all out. So half of those notes coming up with kind of this, and he was right. It's just like it's got way more space to it, and it feels really great.
Just miss it, might just miss it. The world's got beautiful colors, but you might.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the slightly raspy vocal.
This chorus melody, we always loved that. World's got beautiful colors. But then there was this issue about if we liked this, but you, because it always sounded a little bit like Tom Jones to me, like a 70s lounge singer. World's got beautiful colors, but you might just. So I struggled with that, and it might have only been me.
Open your eyes and see the world.
Well, I love that my cute puppy's there, giving me inspiration.
Might just miss it, might just miss it.
Build more energy and just give it a little more rockin' sound.
Might just miss it, might just miss it. World's got beautiful colors.
What I love so much about making music is it's just this creation that came from nowhere and evolves into something together, especially when we're doing it with others. It's really fun. It was a pretty good collaboration.
But you might.
Or a pop band.
Mm-hmm.